You know, over the past few years, I've reviewed so many different kinds of headsets. And when I say review, I mean ones I haven't even put on this channel. And with what I do for a living and in using headsets pretty much every single day of my life, I get really, really picky after a while. And what do I mostly get picky about is I get picky about price range, number one. But number two, how strong is that microphone going to be, which is why I'm going to buy a headset anyway for the price. And you can start to get a judgment after a while on knowing how good a headset is going to be based on the price and then brand and all the other features second. But today is going to be a little bit different, and today I'm going to review the JLab Go Work. Now, I am impressed with other JLab products that fit this category of Go products, the JLab Talk Go, and even their headphones, you know, the Executive Air Go and this and that. If you look up on their website, you'll start to see what I'm talking about. Their Go series of products. And with the retail price of $49.99, you're going to see that they weren't playing around with this headset. So let's get into the review. This is Adam, and I truly hope this is helpful. So for starters, with that price range in mind of $49, let's go over what this headset has to offer first with the specs, and then I'll do a mic test and go over everything else I think about this from having used it for a week. So what it's saying on the box is 45 plus hours of Bluetooth playtime. There's a quick mute indicator you push on the side of the boom mic. You push a button in and it gives you a red light indicator and mutes the mic. You can wear it on either side, which is awesome. You can go wired by using a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack to USB-C combo, which is pretty cool. That's rare to find in a headset. C3 clear calling, a retractable boom mic like I mentioned, Bluetooth multi-point connectivity, Bluetooth 5. So that's really cool for $49. That's actually kind of rare. I wasn't expecting that with this price range of the headset. The audio is 40 millimeter drivers. It's saying that you can go up to 30 feet for its wireless range. It takes about 2 hours to charge it all the way up to that 45-hour plus mark from going dead to full. Well, dang, they're not playing when it comes to all the features they're trying to offer in this headset and what they're really trying to show the value they can bring for the price. So now let's see how that microphone does. I'm going to do a wired and a wireless test. I'll do one in a real coffee shop, one at home with a blender and a dryer and just ambient noise at home in the background, and then one in my quiet office. So let's get into the microphone test and see how this does. Okay, so this microphone test is in my quiet office, not the coffee shop yet. And I access the ability to hear yourself by pushing the main button 3 times. Sounds a little artificial, but it is nice how I can hear myself pretty well still. All right, so testing out the JLab Go Work headset. I hope I said the name right. In a actual coffee shop, I think the decibels were about 70, maybe 75, 80. So decent enough to see if this will cancel out enough noise. Alrighty, now let's do the dryer and the blender test. So quiet right now. Let me start the dryer. Alrighty, so I got that going. Let me open up and close the dryer door because now we're gonna move to the blender. I'm just blending water just to see if it comes through. So let's give that a run. And I'm standing right in front of the blender too. So, all right, let's see how well it did. Okay, so now we're going to test the JLab Go Work with the wired connection to see if there's any major noticeable difference. In a quiet room right now, although this won't be in a real coffee shop, I am going to play ambient noise through my speakers here as if we are in a coffee shop. And so I have that playing now. It's really, really loud, so let me be quiet to see if it picks up through the mic. Alrighty, so now I'm going to stop that. And the other thing I do want to mention is you can't access the ability to hear yourself with the wired connection. That's only if it's Bluetooth. But either way, I hope this helps. Now, what do I think about the design of this? I think when it comes to how it feels, it doesn't feel as premium as other headsets. It's all plastic. It does have a little bit of creaking, noise when you stretch it out and this and that. But overall, not bad. I mean, you can swivel the headset only one direction. I do like how you can use this on either side of your head, and there's sort of like a locking mechanism when you do lift it all the way up. So that's cool, it won't move pretty easily. Now, what about comfortability and how long I can wear this headset for? Well, I had to adjust it quite a bit in order to fit, especially with glasses on. So right about here it feels really good, even with glasses on. There's enough space to where it's not pinching your glasses against your skull or anything. And I think it takes about probably 2 hours, a little bit over 2 hours before I get ear fatigue. And I go, okay, I'm feeling it on the crown of my head and I'm feeling it pressed on my ears a little too hard, especially if you wear glasses. I know that's a problem for a lot of us with on-ear headphones, even if they're not headsets. And so for me, that's the limit, is about 2 hours before I'm like, okay, I got to take this off and get a break. And that includes ear sweat or just anything else. Overall pressure on my ears is like about 2 hours before I need a break. And how it looks when you pull the boom mic down, does it look as cool as other headsets or anything? I mean, not really. I mean, I feel like the boom arm kind of sticks out a little too far, or it just looks a little goofy. But if we're talking working from home, or even if you're working in a coffee shop, this doesn't look that bad. I mean, you know, when it comes to other headsets that got goofy colors, like that was one thing that turned me off big time about the JLab Evolve 75, is the fact that it was red and just really bulky and huge. It just looked a little too serious. So this has a little bit more of a low profile. I don't think it's that bad, but I think what's most important is, does it do the job? And in my opinion, it definitely does. So in my opinion, I think if you are going to be on like a 1 hour, 2 hour long straight Zoom call or classroom session or something, just use it wired to really ensure that confidence in knowing it's going to work. But if you aren't concerned at all, I mean, just know that you will hear those little glitches, those little in and outs that you hear in the microphone where it sounds like you're up close and far away a little bit. That does happen from time to time. So may not be a big deal, but definitely thought it was worth bringing up still. Now let's get into the speaker quality, which is vitally important, especially if you're in a loud environment. And if you're on a lot of phone calls like me, you completely understand where I'm going with this. Now, when I was in a coffee shop using this, I heard people just fine. I mean, the speakers get more than loud enough to where I never have to do it to like 100% or 90 or even 80. When I was in a loud coffee shop, I would say I was still at 50 to 60% volume on phone calls, and I heard people just fine. Now, when it comes to music and podcasts and audiobooks like that, this is best for phone calls. Music is the bottom of the list in priority when it comes to why you would get this, but it did do well enough to where there's not much bass, but there's clarity in the music, the mids and highs are there. You'll be fine listening to hip hop, listening to rock music, and it's more so an in-between doing your work kind of thing to where like, okay, I'm just getting a jam session in, but you're not going to use these for music, in my opinion. I mean, it's just not what they were made for. I mean, that is the way it goes with headsets like this, especially for the price range, where music is going to be the bottom of the totem pole, where it's there, but it's mainly used for work. And I know that sounds funny because it's called the JLab Go Work, but I think they did good enough, especially for the price range. All right, now let's get into the controls and the EQ settings of what this has to offer as far as functionality goes. With the volume up and volume down, you press it once to go up or down. You hold it for 2 seconds to go forward or backwards on a track. The button under the volume controls is power on and off for 2 seconds, play, pause, answer, and hang up calls pressing once. You can reject an incoming call holding for plus a second is what it says. Activate Siri or OK Google by pressing it twice. You can hear yourself while on a call. So yes, this headset has side tone, if you will. And does it sound good? I think it does. You can hear yourself where it doesn't sound too artificial, but it's not the strongest in volume and you can't adjust it, but it's good enough. And then last but not least, you hold it for 8 seconds to connect to a device, and then you turn off the headset and turn it back on holding for 8 seconds, and that's how you connect to a second device. So if you're going to do that with your phone and computer, you just do it basically twice, and boom, once both are connected, you're set and you don't have to do it again. So there's a lot that this headset is offering for the price range, and I'm pretty impressed with how many people probably will be pleased with this headset if they're looking for something very budget, because I think it's mainly for those who are, number one, on a budget and they don't want to spend gangbusters money on just sounding better than a speakerphone, but two, and just having more of an immersive call experience. That's why you get a headset. I think, in my opinion, this is the perfect like starter pack headset for those working from home and working from home for the first time. This is the headset to go to, especially if you're on a budget. So I think this is going to be a very good headset for a lot of people. I have no complaints with it. It's really hard to complain about a product like this. I mean, if it costs like $300, there's headsets from Jabra and Plantronics where after all that money I spent, after how good the headset was supposed to perform, I still have complaints because you start getting a little too picky. But that's just the way it is with headsets so far. It's kind of hard to find that complete all-in-one package depending on how picky you are like I am. But anyhow, the JLab Go Work, great headset. I think a lot of people will be pleased with this headset. So I hope this review is helpful. Please like and subscribe if you did find it helpful and really enjoyed watching this content. I really appreciate you watching. So to good health, I hope all is well out there, and I will see you on the next one.